Hey everybody, this is Sean D. Bradley, president of Dealer Synergy and the creator of the Millionaire Car Salesman Group, and I'm here with apparently a rock star. So I got my man Sal Ali here. Sal, tell us a little bit about yourself, brother.
I've been in business for, I would say, 32 years now.
Oh, wow, okay.
I take pride in what I do.
You've been on the floor the whole 30 plus years?
I've been a sales manager for, I would say, 12 years of my career.
Okay, now, how long have you been at Raceway Kia?
For 1 month now.
For 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why we're doing this interview is I came here to interview the GSM and Internet Director, and last month you guys had a colossal month, 186 units or 187 units, and you sold how many of those?
37.
Okay, so I got to ask, brother. I've been doing this for a long time. I used to average 30 cars a month at Weiss Little Lincoln Mercury Mazda in Brick.
I know where that is.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I was at Pine Belt in Toms River for a couple of years where I was doing about 110 cars a month out of my internet department. I was running a department like Carmela.
Okay.
So I know what it takes to sell 37 cars, you know what I mean? And again, the most I ever sold was 33. I used to average 30. So how did you come into a store for the first month and put 37 units on the books? Was it all walk-ins?
All walk-ins.
Jesus.
I've never done Kia before. This is the first time I've done Kia. So I have no experience in Kia. I have 32 years of experience, but not with Kia.
That is insanity. So just to make you feel a little bit better, so we're not just spilling the tea, so to speak, your GSM had told me that there were 6 salespeople last month, and the salespeople averaged about 30 cars apiece.
Correct.
You were the number one. The team averaged about $17,000 a month in personal income, but you brought in about a quarter.
Correct.
So my people, in the middle of a freaking pandemic and people are worried about stuff, this brother right here just brought in $25,000 at a Kia dealership his first month on the block. Now, obviously, he's a seasoned veteran. He's got more experience than I do. I've only got 22 years in. You got 10 years more than I do. But still, you got to, as a sales manager, you got to recognize what you did is special, right or wrong?
Correct.
Okay, so please tell us, how the hell did you do it? Like,
I'd never forget day one. It's the fundamentals of business. Even though you have the technology, the social media and everything, you still go with the fundamentals. You don't forget. That's A through Z to sell a car.
So it's the road to the sale. Okay, and what are some of the things that are non-negotiables for you? Like some of those principles that you live by? Qualifying the right way.
Get people to like me.
Okay, so
I sell myself.
Okay.
I sell myself. I build rapport correct.
If you can share, you know what I mean, with us, when somebody comes in, you up them, you sit them down at your desk, and then you engage your customer worksheet. Can you give some tips or advice on ways to build common ground or way to build a rapport?
Yeah, the easiest way to get people to get their, we would call it in the business, their dukes down, is get them to like me. So I start off with a common denominator, find something right off the get-go that we can hit it off, that we can talk about besides the car business.
So you're looking for what kind of car they're driving, if they're with a family, if they got like a sports
that they're wearing, correct.
Okay, explain that. I don't want to lead you.
It really is. If somebody comes in with a sports hat on or something, oh, you follow football, and then right away I get into that conversation as opposed to getting right into the car business. Because if you do that, people start to build a wall, and it's hard to knock down that wall right from the get-go without building that rapport.
That's strong. Okay, now after you've built that rapport with them, do you have any type of style on how you qualify them to identify the product selection? Because with your experience, I'm going to interview you a little bit differently than somebody that doesn't have your experience. NADA says the number one reason why people don't buy cars is because they're landed on the wrong car, which tells me as a trainer because they weren't qualified the right way.
Correct.
So give some tips on how you're going to isolate and identify the exact vehicles. You don't want to waste your time.
Find out what type of driving they do. Do they need to have something that they're commuting on the highway constantly or locally driving? So you look for gas mileage tips and stuff like that. 2, you see what they pull in, see what kind of vehicle they have, and then what kind of family they have. Do they go long trips and stuff like that? So you give you an idea of how to lead them, because if they have a big family and they only got a small vehicle, you know they're looking for a larger vehicle.
Right.
But if they already have that larger vehicle, they're looking for an everyday commute car. So that's my basis on how I go about it.
Okay, so once you identify the product selection side of things and you go into the features and benefits, do you do full-blown walkarounds for every customer or try to?
I do.
Okay, you do.
I do a full walk around on every car before and after the test drive.
Okay, then this is one that like fledgling new salespeople or weak salespeople say they didn't want to do it. So how do you overcome somebody that says I don't want a presentation, I already owned one or I've seen this before?
Every car is different. Every car is made. It's a machine. I tell them. Every car is made by a human being. There's always errors. So every car is going to run differently, depending on who I'm dealing with. If it's a female, I tell them you don't buy a pair of shoes without trying the car. Or without trying the pair of shoes on, and they'll agree with you right away. They're like, so it makes it easier to get them into the car. If it's a guy, listen. There's every little tweak that's going to offset you. You have to try this kind of car.
I agree. I think that, it's imperative to spend a little extra time to sell them on the features and benefits, versus than just talking about numbers. Okay, good. So let's say we got to that part, the test drive. Do you believe in doing test drives?
Absolutely.
Do you believe going on the test drives?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. So it's important when you look in the camera and say that again, because do you believe in going to test drives yourself?
100%.
Because I think, and if you're a good car guy, which I know you are after your experience you share with me, isn't it ridiculous that salespeople just throw a plate on there and let them go out on a test drive by themselves?
It is. A lot of people find an excuse, but then you're demoralizing the car because now you're not making maximum profit on the vehicle.
What's crazy is if I had people that have put a plate on the car, had the customer go take a test drive by themselves, and coming to find out that they were calling other dealerships on the test drive and this and that and other, you're missing an opportunity to get their first impression, what they like, questions, and be able to trial close them. How do you maximize the test drive? What do you do when you're on a test drive with the customer?
I talk everything about there needs to be talk about building the report. I don't talk about the car. I try to avoid any car conversation in
rapport.
the car.
Okay. Then when you come back from the test drive, do you do a service walk?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I introduce them to either the service manager, which is who I prefer, or one of the writers.
Okay. What advice do you have for salespeople that are getting started out? I don't know if you know this, but my daughter's boyfriend just got hired here. He starts next week.
Oh, perfect.
As is Corey. So if let's just say you're talking to a 19-year-old kid that just got a job here, he's going to go through training next Tuesday. What advice would you have for someone like that about this business?
Stick with the basics.
Okay, basics. How important is training to you?
100% positive.
Okay. And any advice to stay away from? What type of behavior should he stay away from?
Negative attitude.
The huddle. The huddle. All right. Now, I want a little more background information, if I could digress. So you sold 37 cars here last month. In your 32-year career, what's the most amount of cars you sold in a month?
42.
42. Okay. Was it all fresh ups, or was it you had different ways to get those deals?
Fresh ups.
Fresh ups. Wow. Okay. What about your prior customers and that type of stuff?
I do have a following. So I usually have people that call me, follow me no matter what brand I'm with because they're buying the car from me, because they know what kind of service I'm going to give them. And if they don't buy from me, then they're going to ask for my advice on what to do, and then doing that builds even more rapport with them, so they will send their family members to me and say, listen, if you're looking for a Kia, whatever, this is the gentleman to go see.
Now, in September 2020, with the whole COVID, do you think it's easier or harder to sell cars today? Or the same?
To me, it's the same.
I would agree. I think that it's just different. I mean, like it's the same as far as difficulty-wise, but there's different challenges and there's different pluses. In some ways, I think that it's easier. If somebody comes to the dealership, they want to buy a car. People are not going to turn around and go to a dealership in pandemic just to window shop. So does that make you feel better as a salesperson when you have somebody here, you know that these people really probably want to buy a car?
It does. It makes me feel a lot better. But the number one downfall of this time period right now is inventory.
Good. I'm glad you mentioned that because we didn't talk about that at all today. How do you overcome inventory situations?
Try to emphasize how much better of a deal they're going to get taking something that we have here that it's accessible.
Okay. And so you're just selling from in stock and you're flipping from new to pre-owned, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, if you were going to leave something with the audience, you don't know my reach, but we have hundreds of thousands of people on our social network. This is going to get blasted all over the place. What advice do you have to just the automotive industry about how to really leverage this career?
Just keep plugging away. Don't lose faith. Just positive attitude.
Do you recommend car sales for people that are looking for a career?
I do.
Why do you think that this is a legitimate, good career that you could build your life and your family around?
Because there's no cap on what you can make.
Folks, for me, what's best about this industry is that you could make as much money as you can earn. Is that correct?
That's correct. 100%.
Well, listen, brother, it was a pleasure getting to meet you. Much respect. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
Do you like the content? You need to sign up for Bradley On Demand, the world's best virtual training platform in the entire automotive industry. With some of the top speakers, salespeople, and trainers, and over 5,000 training modules. You will sell more cars, more often, and more profitably. So sign up now at www.bradleyondemand.com.